Hi everybody, it's Janice here. So today I'm going to be doing some ocean-inspired coasters with some sea foam. So I have my mold. I've got three of my colors that I'm going to use. I've got my little seashells and some starfish, and I've got some proper beach sand. That's also got some sort of crushed shells in it. It's quite coarse. And I've got 210 grams of my 1:1 medium viscosity resin that is all mixed and ready to go. So I'm going to pour some of it into the sea sand, and I'm going to mix that into the sand, and then I'm going to just place that sand into each of the molds. So with summer having finally reached this side of the world, I've really just, felt inspired to do some beachy stuff. And also I get quite a few comments still about how to do sea foam. So this is just a great project for beginners. It's so easy. There's so little that can really go wrong. As I think the major thing is that you just be careful of the shells you use. You don't want the shells to stick above the rim of your coaster. Otherwise, you're going to have an uneven top, and you're going to have to end up sanding and then putting a top coat on. So just make sure all your shells are below the level of your mold. So I'm just placing everything around sporadically onto the sea sand. And then I'm going to pour a little bit of the clear resin just over the top of that. And if it runs off the sand a little bit, that's fine, because it all kind of blends in when I put the other colors in anyway. And then what I do is I start with my lighter color. And I don't use all separate little containers. I mean, you can if you want to, but I just use the same container. So I've done the lighter color, and I've still got leftover in there. So then I just take the next color and I add it into that blue, and it makes it a little bit darker, or changes the color a little bit. And I just keep going like that. So you're still getting a variation of color, but at the end of the day, it's just using one cup. So you can see it's changed the color. And then I add the darker one in last. And I'll just add that mica powder to the leftover resin, and I'll pour that along the top. When I started resin, this was the very first thing that I did, was some ocean themes, just because it's you can get away with a few mistakes, and if you've got a few bubbles, you don't notice it, because it's sort of a beachy water theme. So I just removed the air bubbles, and then I left it overnight to cure. And this is the next day now. So they're all nicely cured. So for the foam, you need some ordinary standard dishwashing liquid, some water, and a little bit of white pigment paste. And then just add a little bit of dishwasher into your cup, add some water to that, and then just take a little stick and kind of beat it up until you get bubbles. And because this is going to be sea foam, you don't want to use a straw. A straw, when you blow with a straw, it makes big bubbles. With the stick, it makes very fine, small, sort of very fluffy white bubbles, and those are the bubbles you want for your sea foam. And then what I'm doing now is I'm just adding a tiny little bit of the white pigment paste. You can use white acrylic paint. It doesn't matter what white you use. And then I've taken some UV resin. You don't need a lot because you use very little. And then just mix that in nicely. And that's what you're going to use now to put onto your coasters. So remember, your coasters have now cured, that it's hard. And you're just going to you're going to take your little stick or I'm just using my little silicone pen there, and just put your white where you want it. And then you take those small little bubbles and you put them over the white UV resin. And then I'm going to take my little UV lamp and I'm going to just put that over my coaster for about a minute. And then just take a piece of paper towel and dab all the moisture off there. And I went ahead and I did it on the other 3 as well. And I have sped this up just so that you don't have to sit through, the whole thing. So you've got tiny little foam bubbles there, and it just finishes it off. Right, so that's done. And just make sure you have got no moisture on there, because resin does not like any kind of water, moisture. It will leave real bad, horrible marks in your resin. So I've got another 200, I think it was 200. Yes, it was another 210 grams of resin. And you can do your top coat now straight away after you've done your foam, because your foam is now hard. It's really set from the UV lamp. And I just did a top coat over all 4, covered, and I left overnight. Just getting rid of any bubbles that'll come, and I like to use my little heat gun. And so this is the next day. They're all nicely cured. You actually get a stand with this mold as well, which at some point I probably will do the stand, as it just looks so nice with May all standing up in it. So and that's the end result. I just think they make an awesome gift. Really nice and beachy, nice for a beach house. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope it's given you a little bit of motivation or inspiration to go and try these. They're really awesome for, especially for new people that are starting out on resin, because they're very forgiving, and you just feel so good after you've done them. So hope you've enjoyed it, and I will hopefully see you on the next video I do.